So it's week 2 of the current project, which is water, seas and coastal themes. And last week I made a start on this by gridding up an image I took on Anglesey earlier in the year, and then just kind of blowing it up. So the next stage, so this could be like an acrylic painting or an oil painting, and obviously on canvas. And what the next stage for me would be to just block in some colours. So it's really basically putting some areas of colour down. It doesn't have to be terribly refined, it doesn't have to be particularly detailed at each stage, but it's just like putting an undercoat on. So with a white canvas, I find that very, very bright, and it's sometimes quite difficult to get some dark colours down. So it's best to get some areas of colour everywhere with that. So and again, with landscapes, I tend to work background to foreground. Okay. So I'm going to start with the sky, and I'm just going to use acrylics this week. I may use a little bit of oils next week, do a kind of oils layer. And if you're working with oils, if you want to, you can do an acrylic underpainting, and that way the underpainting will dry quite quickly, and you can then go onto oils. So I'm just mixing a fairly neutral colour for the sky. Some of these photos I've enhanced the colours a little bit, but it was actually quite a grey day, and if I can find a way of keeping a sort of grey day quality to it, I quite like to. So mixing some blue, brown and a little bit of red together. So looking at the one thing you can do, if you want to see if you've got the right kind of colours and tones. Now acrylics will tend to dry a little bit darker than they are wet, as it were. So just pop a little bit on a bit of plastic and just see how that is tonally. So that's pretty close at the moment. So I think I'll go for that. And as I say, if it goes a bit too dark, the next layer of paint can go lighter. Now this layer, you could actually paint it quite thinly if you wanted. It doesn't have to be particularly thickly painted. Just go up to my border here. And I don't want to lose my drawing. So I think the sea level is about there. I'm going to just get a little bit more white out. With acrylics, I like to have a nice, good quality white. I find that it's nice to have something that will cover well. So sort of artist quality whites are good to have. So just mix a little bit more of that in there. And particularly coming down towards the horizon. I don't want it too dark down there. I'm just following the edges that I set out last week, and hopefully it will start to. I actually did redraw it yesterday because I wasn't happy with the way the drawing had gone. Now this little island in the distance, I've just very slightly changed the shape so that it doesn't just run in as one line across there. So I've made it a little bit lower there. The sea level there. So pop that in quite quickly. Get to about there. So the sea itself, it's like a nice sort of greeny aqua colour. So I'll add a little bit of cerulean to that, which is a nice green blue. I've got me in there, let's get another tube. And I can probably just adjust the mix I've got, just add a little bit of that in there. Only wants to be slightly darker, or slightly different. Again, get a reasonable quantity of paint out, good sized brush, and you can cover that fairly quickly. The actual crest of the waves, we just sort of down the edge there. And it's not a sharp edge, it's got a blurry edge there. You could leave some white there, or you could just paint the white over the top. So the lightest bits I'm going to actually just pop over the top of that. Just bring that all at home at the moment. Again, perhaps going to a slightly smaller brush for any detail shapes, but I can re-establish the drawing here. I'm not too precious with the drawing, because that can be redrawn with a brush. Again, oils and acrylics, it's very forgiving. You can make adjustments very easily. The shapes. Yeah, down here is where the beach starts to come in, so I won't go too far. So you carry on with the sea there. I'll leave this at that. I'm just going to do a little passage down here. I'll go to a slightly smaller brush, or a different brush, because I want to change the colour more. So this sandy colour is quite a pinky brown. So I think the pinky colour I had with the sky here, I'm going to use that and add a little bit of, this is burnt sienna. Just make that a little bit redder, maybe a little bit crimson as well. I don't want it too bright, so a little bit of the greyish colour that I've got for the sky added in would be quite good too. And as I say, it's just to get some background colour on. It doesn't have to be fine glare as well. So we've got rocks here, and the picture is going to end about here. That's the end of the picture. So actually, there's lots of rocks and seaweed there, and that's coming down to that way. Yeah, it's good. It's useful having a gridded image there too, just to see where things come up to. Already mixed quite enough there. Bigger mix. Yep. And a tiny bit of the blue colour mixed in. Tiny bit more red. A little bit more brown actually, just to dull that down a tiny bit. Now where the waves meet the sand, it becomes a little bit blurred there. The other good thing about this is it will, if you use pastel pencils, it will fix that in place so that the next layer, you can go over that. I'm going to keep some of the rock here, but I didn't want quite so much seaweed. Just thought that's a bit ugly with the seaweed. Just want to tidy up the beach again. It's my pitch there to make it my version. So that would, you'd work that way, right the way across. I'll leave a little bit of that because I'll probably carry this demo on this afternoon. Next week I thought I'd do the same sort of thing. I'll try and refine this image a bit, but I'll also do a little bit on watercolours because one or two people, particularly in the afternoon group, are interested in watercolours. But I'm just going to another brush just for convenience, and they're just some sort of background greys for the rocks. So a bit of brown, a bit of blue, tiny bit of red. Again, it's background colour, so it doesn't have to be finished. Just getting something kind of blocked in. Tiny bit of water to just make that paint flow. Being on a canvas, it just needs a little bit more to get the paint to stick in and go into all the little pinholes. Using the edge of the brush, that's the side. You could wait for this to dry, and being acrylics, it's going to dry pretty quick, really. So, and then as I come across here, the rocks get slightly lighter, so I can lighten that up a little bit. And I basically do the same back here, the same over here, and then I can come back into that. That will dry. Come back into that and refine it. Perhaps work all these to see first. I think all this I'll probably do on the final layer. I could either leave a little bit of a gap or just pop that over the top. Is that okay? Any questions? Yeah.
So where you've got the waves
Yeah.
and all the white, you painted that all blue and then you do the white
I'll
afterwards.
probably, yeah, I'll probably let that dry and then just put the white over the
Go
top. Yeah, yeah.
To get them properly.
Yeah, with oils, there's a
Yeah.
danger of the paint kind of mixing in
Yeah.
with what's there. So you'd either have to sort of really scrub this in so that
Yeah.
you've just about, you've only just got enough to cover it, in which case you can then probably put some more oil. Or perhaps use things like palette knives with
Yeah.
very soft brushes that aren't hit too much blue up.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Very good.